Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about mother-in-laws. I may have talked about mine on here. Um, I know I talked about a situation that involved our Cocker Spaniel Molly. She just goes around telling everybody that I murdered her dog, and it wasn't her dog. It was, in every legal sense of the way, it was my husband's dog, and he gave me half ownership. Actually, most of everything was in my name anyway. Um, she lived with me. I paid for everything. I took her to the vets. I paid for the vets. Even though the vet was under his mother's name, the only reason why I kept it that way was so that Molly could have her entire medical history right there without having to get things changed. That is also why I went to the same vet, which was clear across town. That took about 45 minutes to get to, when there are several other vets that I could have taken her to. But I decided same vet, and just to keep her under that same account so that all her medical history is right there in case they ever need to look into it if Molly had any other issues. And then she ended up saying to the vet, go ahead and put her in a cage in the back overnight and I'll just come get her. She doesn't know that I know that. But that's what they told me, so I said, no, I'll just take her back with me. So I ended up going to another vet and getting another end of life evaluation, and then ended up having her put down there, which ended up costing me more than double, and it ended up causing an extra day of trauma for me, an extra day of trauma for Molly, and an extra day of trauma for my husband, he's had her since she was a puppy, and it was extremely hard on him, and he's not a man that cries, but he was crying. What was going on with Molly couldn't be fixed, changed, or even helped. She had such a high fever, and it was just a matter of time that she was going to pass away on her own, and we didn't want to make her suffer any more than she had to. If she had went to my mother-in-law's, she would have just spent the whole time on the floor because my mother-in-law worked all day, so nobody would be around Molly. She just wanted control of the situation. That's it. I wanted her to be there to see Molly one last time before she passed away, but that wasn't her intent. Her intent was, if she saw Molly, she was gonna take her and make sure that I didn't see her when she passed. Another thing that I talked about was me and my husband's wedding. I don't remember which video it was in, but when we were getting married, she tried to convince us that we shouldn't be getting married, tried to convince us that we weren't happy, tried to convince us that we were only getting married for financial reasons. Then she tried to control the wedding. And then in our state, you have to have 2 witnesses' signatures for a wedding. If it was up to me and my husband, we would have had no guests. We just would have went to the courthouse and did it and left. But no, we had to have signatures. So she thought it was just going to be her and one other person there because she knew that we just wanted a very small, quick thing. And I knew that in her mind, she was going to change it so that she doesn't sign. Like, it would be her and one other person there, and when it comes to signing that they witnessed the marriage, she would just be like, nope, I'm not signing. So I made sure to invite a few extra people that kind of knew of the situation but would be ready to go to be another signature just in case. But she ended up signing because she knew that I covered myself. So the entire 12 years that my husband and I have been together, she has hated me. I don't know why, but I do know now that she has this thing about family. And it's not about just family, it has to be blood related family. If you're not blood related family, then you are not considered family. And I notice that that's how she treats everybody in our family who is and isn't related by blood. One of the things that she hates most about me is that I got my husband to stop drinking. When I met my husband, he was an alcoholic. It took a few years and a lot of work and just trying to love him for him and being there for him because she was the reason he drank. She hated the fact that I'm the reason he stopped drinking. When he has talked to other people who also had drinking and or drug issues, there was one specific person I know that he was kind of mentoring and asked him how he stopped drinking, and he told him the love of a good woman. I do not let that give me an ego, but I'm proud of him, and I'm glad that he had someone that he could quit for so that he can better himself and better his life. He hasn't drank for many years, and she definitely hates that I got him to stop drinking because while he was drinking, I think it was easier for her to be able to manipulate him. So he recently, well, not really recently, it's actually almost been a year. It was, I think, late April of 2024, and here we are in February, mid-February. So it's almost been a whole year that he's been no contact with her, and it was all over a birthday present. So I had just had like major surgery, and I was still recovering from it, and I was also dealing with I had some really bad medical issues going on, and I was dealing with some devastating news. So, and I'm always the gift giver. Gift giver. So I do all of the shopping, sending everything. So he asked his mom what she wanted for her birthday. He said what she wanted. I said, hey, that's a little bit too expensive what we're willing to spend, because my husband was dead set on getting a motorcycle, and what little energy I had, I was spending on trying to figure out how to get him the motorcycle of his dreams. So we had to cut corners in a lot of places, and getting the expensive gifts that she is used to was one of those things that we were having to cut. So I said, hey, that gift is a little expensive. Maybe try to keep it to something like, somewhere around $40. And mind you, she doesn't send any of us birthday gifts. And then what we get for Christmas, we're lucky if she spends like $5 each. Me and my daughter usually get dollar store socks. So during all this going on, trying to figure out her present, I told my husband, I said, look, I'm dealing with a lot. I'm stressed out. I'm not feeling good. I'm tired all the time. Can you just, be the person to get her gift? Just try to keep it within this price range. And he says, yeah, I'll do it. But then he was called for a military trip and he had to leave very quick, and he was gone for weeks. So he ended up missing her birthday. I think it was on her birthday or the day after or something. I think it was on her birthday. She had asked where her present was, and he had totally forgot about the conversation because of everything that was going on with his military trip. And he said, I don't know if Jen sent anything. And he texted me. I said, no, remember I told you I needed you to deal with her present, because I just didn't want to put the energy into it, because I'm really good at gift giving, and in order to be a good gift giver, I have to sit there and do a lot of research and spend a lot of time trying to find the right gift to make this person happy. Especially with the item that she wanted, I wanted to see if maybe I could try to find something cheaper. That's what I would have done if I was the one looking for a present. It's not about just wanting to make people happy. It's about the fact that when you grow up in a narcissistic household and you don't get the right gift to make someone happy, they end up being very nasty about it. And so you want to make sure you get a good enough gift so that you are not getting punished for not getting them the exact item that they want. And even if you do get the exact thing, they find something to complain about. So this is carried on with everyone. So whenever I get a gift for anyone, I make sure to spend a lot of time on looking for the right gift to make them happy, but also one that isn't going to kill our pockets. So in any case, so he told her, yeah, I'm on a military trip. I can't deal with it right now. Let me wait till I get home and then I'll have one sent to you. He was coming home, I think, a day or two later. And so when she would have, if he used Amazon, when she would have received her gift, whatever he chose, it probably would have been maybe 5 days late from her birthday, but she chose to see it as a slight. And that we hated her. She actually made it about me, saying that like this was a dig at her. It's like, oh, if you're mad at me about something, like she seems to think that because she has not gotten us gifts, and when she has gotten us gifts, they have been cheap gifts. She thinks this was my way of getting her back or something, and it wasn't like that. So she ended up going off on him, calling him names, talking trash about me, told him that he was being cruel to her, and that she said, you know what, I can be cruel too, and you can just see how cruel I will be, or something along those lines. So she was basically saying that she was gonna be nasty to him, and he says, you know what, I'm done with the drama, I'm gonna block her. So he blocked her. And he said he was never going to talk to her again. So she went around mouthing off about me and my daughter and stuff like that. So she did it to a person who doesn't like her. They are a family member by marriage to her. I've met this person, and this person likes me. They love my husband. So this person came to me and told me a lot of specific things that nobody would just know, because I've really been trying really hard to keep my life, like on Facebook and everything like that, private. Even people who are on my friends list, I don't post much. And usually it's just like a picture of my dogs or whatever. So she knew an awful lot. And the only person who could really tell her about some of this stuff is my mother-in-law. Either that or my sister-in-law. But my sister-in-law didn't do this. And plus, why would this person tell me that my mother-in-law said it if my sister-in-law said it? So, there's some stuff I'm not going to divulge because they get a little bit personal. But, my mother-in-law is a very sick and twisted individual. I think one of the worst things that she admitted to this person was that with my husband being a recovering alcoholic, there have been several years for Christmas where she has gotten him alcohol-related gifts. I believe one year he got a bottle of Jack, Pabst Blue Ribbon pajama pants, shirts, socks, just alcohol-related stuff. She told this person that she intentionally got him alcohol-related gifts, even though he is sober, in order to piss me off, and that she was hoping that it would make him relapse so that he would be abusive towards me and I would leave him. She's willing to jeopardize his sobriety and also risk his job in the military in order to get rid of me. Narcissistic parents do not care if their children get hurt as long as they get what they want. Their children are not people to them. They are just pawns in whatever game that they're playing. She does not love my husband. You do not love someone if you want them to completely ruin their lives, all because you're having a tantrum. That right there hurt my husband to learn that. She also told this person that I deserved cancer, even though her daughter also has cancer, breast cancer. And the person said to her, oh, so I guess your daughter deserves cancer too? Oh, and information about that is my mother-in-law put out some type of tip jar at work, and on it she wrote, hey, please help, my daughter has breast cancer. And she got quite a bit of money from it, and she kept it. None of it went to my sister-in-law, who is fighting breast cancer and is costing her a lot of money. And not only that, her house has like a $20,000 foundation issue that needs to be addressed before mold takes over her home. But yet she decided to keep the money for herself. This is actually what my mother would do. Now, the one thing that she said that would hurt me was that, so my daughter has autism, and it's only mild autism. Sorry, somebody came to the door, and I have 5 dogs. So when they were discussing my daughter, I think she asked, the person who told me all this information, she was asking my mother-in-law, like, what was going on with my daughter, like how she was doing in school and all that jazz, or like what she got her for Christmas. And my mother-in-law said, I don't give a F about her, about my daughter. So she doesn't give an F about my daughter. She made fun of my daughter's autism. And she made fun of her speech. My daughter has like a speech issue. She's going to speech therapy. So she's had some tests done, and what she does is she's able to breathe through her mouth and her nose at the same time. So while she's talking, she's breathing out in and out of her nose. So it makes her speech sound a little bit weird. Her therapist said that this is something that usually takes people many years to master, and usually people who do this are people who play instruments that require using your mouth. You got to be able to blow out while breathing in and out of your nose. So that's kind of cool, but my daughter doesn't play an instrument, so it doesn't work for her. So they're trying to help her so that she's not doing that. The other thing that this person said that she had admitted to, she said that she acted giddy when she was talking about it. She said that this whole time, all these 12 years, she has been intentionally doing things and saying things to try to provoke me and piss me off. She laughed because she thought it was funny. One of those instances was when I had a crazy neighbor try to run my daughter over while she was in the middle of our driveway getting ready to go to school, and the crazy neighbor, didn't see me, and I witnessed it. This person had severe mental issues, and they had shortly before that asked me if I could give their car a jump. And I was in the middle of going to a doctor's appointment. I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time. I'm going to a doctor's appointment. I can't be late. Not only that, my battery is in a case. It takes like 45 minutes just to like change a battery because it takes a bunch of tools and it's a whole ordeal. But in any case, this person took that as a slight and tried to run my daughter over. There is a police report, but nothing ever happened because the police said that since nobody else witnessed it, there was nothing that they could do about it. But at least I got a police report. So when I had posted about it on Facebook, my mother-in-law blamed it on me and said it was my fault because if I had just helped this woman, then it wouldn't have happened. She said a whole bunch of other nasty stuff, like basically saying that I was stupid because I didn't know how to take the box thing off of the battery of my car. And I said, I didn't. It's not that I don't know how, I didn't have time. That was one of those things where she was intentionally ignoring what I was saying and just making up things like whatever she wanted in order to try to provoke me. And then the other thing is that she knew that contacting me when Jerry wasn't, my husband, wasn't contacting her, that it would piss me off and cause fights between me and him, which it did. So he was very well known for never texting her back. And when he didn't, she would text me nonstop to try to get him to text her back. So that had caused some fights between me and him. But every time I would tell her, hey, I told him, that's all I can do, she would keep on pestering me until I said, basically to him, I said, oh my God, please just text her back so she'll leave me alone. That was intentional because she was trying to break us up. When I went no contact with her, that took that fun out of it for her. But everything that she has said about my daughter, I've literally, I don't care anymore. I'll catch a charge. I told my sister-in-law, I was like, the next time I see your mother, I said, I'm going to jail because I am 100% going to do something to her. I said I was going to knock her out. And then my brother-in-law and my husband laughed and said that they'll bail me out and that they would love to see it because they're tired of her. You can sit there and talk crap about me all you want, but the second you go and you make fun of my child with mild autism and making fun of her speech, all gloves are off. I don't care anymore. What am I going to do? Go to jail for 2 days, get bailed out? It's whatever, pay a fine. I know you're going to say, oh, it's not worth it. To me, it would be because then I get to see her freaking knocked out. But it's whatever. This is anger talking, but I know for a fact that I'm never going to see her again because I made it very clear to my sister-in-law that anytime there's a family function or whatever, mother-in-law can have first choice. So Christmas, holidays, whatever, if mother-in-law wants to go see her daughter, she can. So that way my sister-in-law doesn't have to choose. I said, we will just come another time and celebrate at another time, visit at another time. It's no big deal. My husband and I did talk beforehand to make sure that we were on the same page, that neither of us want to hear about my mother-in-law, and we don't want any of our business told to mother-in-law by anyone. So I've made this clear to people, including my sister-in-law, when I was actually in the car with her when we went up to visit. And I told her, I'm like, hey, I just don't want to make this this whole big thing, but I just want to set a boundary that we don't want to hear anything about your mom, and we don't want your mom knowing any of our business, whatsoever. And I apologized for making it hard on her, but it's better to just keep it act like we don't exist. I said, if she asks about us, just tell her you can't talk about us or whatever. Just say whatever you want. Just please respect our privacy and not tell her anything. Well, about a week ago, my mother in law posted on Facebook a picture of my husband, and it said something like, "This is my husband that doesn't talk to me," or not, "This is my husband. This is my son that doesn't talk to me anymore." And my sister in law took a screenshot of it and sent it to my husband and said, "Oh, she misses you." My husband said, "Hey, I thought you talked to her about this." I said, "I did." I was like, "I told her we don't want to know anything and we don't want her to tell your mom anything. So I don't know what to do about this." And the thing that makes it hard is that I also have two of my sister in law's dogs because while she's still battling breast cancer and everything, I've taken in her dogs. I don't know if it's for permanent or just until she's done recovering and everything, but this is why I have 5 dogs. I have two of her chihuahuas that live with me now. So if I stop talking to her, what do we do with the dogs? Do we keep them? Do we give them back? Like, I don't want this to be like a whole fight, but I really don't want to not be in my sister in law's life because she has been good this whole time and I love her husband. Him and I are like, I don't know, we understand each other because of mother in law. That's why him and I are good friends, and that's why whenever there has been family gatherings, it's usually like me and him talking because we're the outcasts. I do want to find a way to tell her, like, "Hey, you crossed the boundary that I asked you not to." And the only way to, or the only reason to like send a post like that is to guilt trip. Be like, "Hey, look, mom's missing you. Can you please contact her?" And I've always seen my sister in law as someone who's like trying to not be like my mother in law. She has always complained about my mother in law. Um, and now, all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, she's acting like she loves her mother and she needs her mother. And I don't know if she's going to start behaving like her mother because she did almost lose her husband because of my mother in law. She was living with them rent free for months and causing problems with my brother in law on purpose because she's doing the same thing. She's wanting to split them up. And he almost divorced her over it because she won't stick up for him. My husband never stuck up for me either when it came to his mom. But at least he went no contact. I actually even told my sister in law, I said, "Look, your mother has lost me forever. There's no way her and I can ever reconcile, especially after what she said about my daughter." I said, "Jerry, on the other hand, I don't know about him." I said, "It could be possible. If she goes and gets help for whatever mental issues she had or she has and learns to behave better and not treat him like crap," I said, "it's possible they may have a relationship one day, but she has to work on herself and change and stop treating him like crap." But that'll never happen because she doesn't see herself as the problem. One other thing I want to note is that after we bought our house, she tried to get us to buy her a second house because she already had a main home in one state. She wanted a second home in another state. She could barely afford the house in one state. And I knew for a fact that since she can barely afford the mortgage on one house, how's she going to afford the mortgage on a second house? Because what she was wanting to do is spend, half the year in one state, half the year in another. My husband was already dead set on saying no, but I told him, I said, "Look, I know for a fact that when she can't pay her mortgage, and since you're on the mortgage, she's going to tell you, hey, you either pay it or you got to pay the consequences because it's your credit." And that's one reason why my sister in law is having some another reason why she's having financial issues, not just from cancer treatments and stuff, is because she co signed on a house for her and she isn't able to pay her bills. So now sister in law is having to pay her mortgage so that her credit isn't hurt. There's a whole lot more going on, but that's all I'm going to say for now because I'm hitting the 30-minute mark. But go ahead and tell your stories in the comments about your mother in law. Okay, take care.